Okay, so this is the answer key for our part 1 study guide. So first off, just know the basic functions of all the organelles. If you have any questions about those, let me know. Number 2, which of the following surface area to volume would be the most efficient for a cell? Explain why you chose the answer. The answer is C, 9 centimeters. The larger the number means the larger the surface area and lower the volume. That's best for cells because makes it easier to diffuse nutrients in and waste out, and there's not as much movement that's needed to carry stuff from one side of the cell to the other. Number 3, what is the fluid mosaic model of the cell membrane? What components contribute to the fluidity of a cell membrane? So fluid means it's flexible, right? Mosaic is all the different stuff inside of our membrane. Components that are in the cell membrane are proteins, cholesterol, phospholipids, and those all contribute to the fluidity a bit. Cholesterol, remember, is that buffer of fluidity. So cholesterol will increase or decrease the fluidity based on the temperature. Number 4, what does amphipathic mean? Amphipathic means that it's partially hydrophilic and partially hydrophobic. And how does that relate to the phospholipid bilayer? The phospholipids themselves are amphipathic, so our phosphate head is going to be hydrophilic. Our fatty acid tails are going to be hydrophobic. And what does that mean for transport into and out of the cell membrane? So polar molecules, because polar molecules are hydrophilic, they can be dissolved by water, will have a difficult time going through the membrane, as well as larger molecules. The main reason they'll have a difficult time going through the membrane is because we have that giant section on the inside of all those fatty acid tails. So that's a huge hydrophobic region where polar molecules will not be able to pass through. Number 5, why is it necessary for eukaryotic organisms to have internal membranes or membrane-bound organelles and not prokaryotes? The main reason is that eukaryotic cells are more complex and larger. So it becomes more efficient to have our chemical reactions concentrated into one area of the cell. So like having our cellular respiration all happening in our mitochondria, having all of our breaking down of stuff happening in our lysosomes. It just makes it more efficient if it's all concentrated in one area. Here we have the chart. So simple diffusion goes from high to low through a membrane. It's passive, and my drawing is there. Facilitated diffusion goes from high to low through the protein in a membrane, passive transport. Osmosis, high water to low water concentration, or low solute concentration to high solute concentration, and that is passive. Protein pump, low to high through a protein with ATP. It's going to be active. Endocytosis is a vesicle going into the cell. That's active transport. Exocytosis is a vesicle going out of the cell, and that is also active transport. What type of energy is needed for active transport to occur? ATP. An amoeba lives in an open pond environment where it is 19 degrees Celsius, and the amoeba contains 0.2 moles of sucrose. The water potential of the pond is negative 1.9 bars. What is the pressure potential in the pond? So the pressure potential of the pond is going to be 0 because it's an open pond. So we have 0 bars of pressure in there. What is the water potential? Because we have 0 pressure potential, the water potential is going to equal the solute potential. So you have to use that equation to calculate the solute potential. So I ended up doing negative 1 times 0.2 times 0.0831 times 292. So that's the ionization constant. Because we're looking at sugar, it's 1 because it doesn't ionize at all. 0.2 molar, this is our constant, and this is the temperature once I converted it into Kelvin. That gives me negative 4.85 bars. Which way will the water move and why? The water will move into the cell because it has a lower water potential. Is the pond hypertonic, isotonic, or hypotonic? It's going to be hypertonic, so water moves from an area of higher solute. Water moves to an area of higher solute from lower solute, so higher solute means lower water potential, so you know that the pond is going to be hypertonic. Next, draw or describe a simple diagram of the pathway of movement out of a cell. So I drew it, and then I also numbered my steps here. So we have our nucleus, goes from our nucleus to our ribosomes, to the rough ER, into a vesicle, into a Golgi, into a vesicle, and into our cell membrane. So that is the path that the cell or proteins are going to take through our endomembrane system. If you have any questions about any of this, just let me know and I'll be happy to help.